Jose with Oakland Latinos United out here in SAC. So he's on my Chicano ideas. And Jose, I want to talk about how, you've been doing it for about 14 years because you were wanting to find out, you had some history that you wanted to share that you felt inspired by about Oakland Chicanos. So, talk a little bit about just your beginning.
So what's up, everybody? I'm Jose with Oakland Latinos United, the voice of the Latino community in the Bay Area, California, and beyond. Like I always say, I'm out here in Sacramento kicking back with the homie famous Wolf, Chicano Ideas. And what got me started was back in the days, in the early years of YouTube, you had a lot of YouTube channels that didn't speak too much on raza issues. There was a lot of blacks that were doing channels talking about black issues. There was even white supremacists on there talking about their issues. So I said, is there any raza? And I couldn't find any. And I come from basically a background that if no one's doing it, let's do for ourselves. So I decided to make Oakland Latinos United. A big part of my channel was because I felt that the Chicano history of Oakland, my hometown, wasn't really told, so I wanted to tell that story. And there's a deep history of Chicanos and raza in the town, and I just wanted people to know.
Okay, like how do you feel, or your thoughts about, like, even in the last interview we did 4 years ago, does it still seem like what I asked us, like Chicano Mexicans not being relevant in like the political party or the activist point of view? Like, the blacks, they have so many parties and names that you could think of, and how do you feel about us not being that relevant? Like, as in,
I feel it's something that's been going on for a long time. It seemed like we were very relevant in the 60s. We had a big platform then and a big voice. And there have been people since then that speak out and do work out there. I'm not going to say they don't exist, but they're not a big voice like we should have.
right.
And I'm not exactly sure why that is. Some might say it's because of drugs, because of gangs, because of years of poverty and different things that has kept us away from social justice and movements to better the community. But like I said, there are people out there doing things, but I feel that we are not outspoken and a loud enough voice like we should be. And I feel that we are a sleeping giant. You feel me?
Yeah. What would you like to see within our community, like, prosper? How would you like to see the people push forward?
I would like to see more education. I would like to see our people learn more about their history and their culture. You know what I mean? I would like to see our youth get away from the machismo and the gang stuff and the criminal behavior that has destroyed our community for centuries on end. And I just want to see our community prosper in a better way, whether it be education, whether it be working. Positivity and respect. There you go. That's what I want to see our community to have: positivity and respect for itself and for others.
Okay. How would you like to see our people grow? Do you want the culture to continue to live under the system of the American guidance, or would you like our people to start possibly one day break off of our system and have possibly our own community, one day our own nation, as they always said back in the 60s, to have our own land back, because we're a part of this, we've been here before the Europeans. So, like, how would you like to see, do you want to continue under the guidance of America, or for those of us who want it, would you want like a nation of our own in the any future?
I mean, definitely I'd like to see our community be self-determined, or self-determination of itself. As far as the Chicano nation, it's been something that's been spoken about since the 60s and even before that. And it's a hard one, bro, because it's hard to break away from the system.
Right.
But can we create our own community or our own kind of nation within the system, or even without? It's a beautiful thing, but it's very hard, bro. It's very hard, very difficult to do. Because, for one, our communities aren't united, and we have so much divisions within our community, from the gangs to other things. And I would like to see our community become a nation. Whether I want to see it break from the country or not, That's a hard one for me to answer, bro. I'm gonna
Right.
keep it real with you, 100%
Okay.
with you. But I definitely want to see our people come up and be self-determined to determine their own destiny, for sure.
Okay. Have you ever heard of like the Mexica movement? Like, you remember them?
Yeah, of course.
What was your thoughts about them, especially because they're not really relevant? Like, they kind of died out. They were a big, you could say for some people, they don't, a lot of new, younger kids than me, I see speaking on indigenous identity and all this. It's more out there. But I don't think a lot of these new, like, younger generation don't know where that came from and understand, like, who put it out there. And it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't think a lot of new YouTubers of the Chicano community are going deep, like, into who and what's been already put out there. But, like, as in my point, I guess I kind of got off, like, what was your thoughts ever about the Mexica movement?
I mean, I remember them. I read some of their stuff. I think
Right.
the guy was named Moline, right? The guy
Right.
who ran it. They did a good thing, and they were out there putting a lot of info about 10 years back. I haven't heard too much about them. I don't even know if they're around anymore.
Yeah.
I respect what they do. I met a lot of people in Oakland who kind of followed a little bit within what the Chicano, the Mexica movement was doing. I noticed a lot of old Chicanos from the Chicano movement went that route, like Mexica movement or indigenous movement type of route. But yeah, I mean, I respect what they do. I mean, they're bringing our history that's been lost through colonialism and through Catholicism and all this stuff that a lot of people don't fail to realize. Our raza fails to realize that that's not us. Catholicism and Spanish culture was forced upon us.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, they were cool. I had no problem with them.
Okay. Like, now, like, as in time goes on, you see Chicano YouTube becoming more relevant, and it seems like a lot of people are kind of inspired off, they got inspiration off of Joe Rogan. Would you say that? Like, wanting to
I can see that. I can see inspiration from Joe Rogan and various others. I've been doing this since 2007.
Right.
And I didn't have no inspiration.
Right.
I got inspired by those little YouTubers at that time who were hardly even named, had names at the time.
Right.
But I can see that with the newer guys for sure. And as far as Chicano YouTubers, there's a lot of them now compared to when I started. There was hardly any,
Right.
none. You were like one of the first dudes that I seen outside of me that was talking about Chicano issues. So it could be that they got an inspiration from Joe Rogan and various others.
Right. Like, one thing about Chicano YouTube, it's just like now that it's becoming more relevant and people want to talk about unity and all this within the community, but some of these platforms, I think they got to put more activists. Like, they need to find out who these Mexican activists are, Chicano activists are, within the political game, the street game, brown berets, whether if it's like Abel Muhammad, who's a part of the Nation of Islam, on their channels. Because to me, it's kind of like entertainment a little bit. Like, it's not like, if you want to talk unity, then put some more activists on there is what I'm saying. Like, instead of just, I don't know, these stories about the pen or just your life, especially if you got this bigger platform and you're speaking unity, well, put these activists.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
A lot of the Chicano YouTubers that have been coming up, face it, a lot of them are ex-criminals, ex-cons. They talk about prison politics and about
Right.
the gangs and the streets. And that's fine and dandy, but definitely I would like to see more Chicanos that are activists making channels. You know what I mean? Where are they? You know what I mean? They need to be a louder voice on there.
Right.
And definitely it would be nice if people like some other Chicano channels out there would put more activists. But sadly, I noticed that a lot of, I'm not going to put no names out there, a lot of Chicano YouTubers tend to lean to the right and dislike like Chicano activist types.
Okay.
I've seen that too, a little bit of that. And
Right.
it is real. That does happen.
Right, especially because it's new, so everyone's figuring out who each other is or who's somebody trying to be or wanting to be. And everyone will kind of, in the beginning, cooperate with each other, but then as people grow, some people get bigger than another, and people will branch their other ways.
For sure.
Because like I learned that within watching YouTube from within the black community. When I started watching deep YouTube in 2014, like all these people used to mess with each other and started with each other, and then in years time they just separated.
Yeah.
Like over, like
we already have it.
Yeah.
We already it's already happening in the Chicano.
Right.
Look at American Cholo and Sonny Boy.
Right.
So that's a perfect example of that already happened on YouTube.
Okay. What is your goals for what is your goals for the Chicano history and culture, and as you get older and grow, your YouTube channel grows?
My goal is to teach people about their history, because Marcus Garvey said it the best. He said, a person without knowledge of their history is like a tree without a root. And I don't know if you ever heard that saying.
Yeah, I heard that.
But my goal is to teach the raza, the young raza, and even the older raza about their history. You know what I mean? My goal is to build a platform for myself to speak my mind, because I'm a very outspoken person. You know what I mean? So part of it is for myself to release my frustrations and the things I want to say to the world, but I also want to educate people, and I want the young raza to know that we do have a history, and we're not these illegal immigrants that they try to say we are, that we just off the border yesterday.
Right.
We've been here since before this was even the United States, and it's like we didn't cross the border crossed us, and that's probably the one thing I want to teach everyone, not just raza, whites, blacks, Asians, like that people could know our history and not be caught up in the ignorance, and that's my goal.
Okay. As you see, what's it like for you seeing Chicano being more on YouTube when there was nobody when you started? How do you see that now? Like, how do you feel about that?
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm glad to have seen it. You know what I mean? I really had lost hope at one time. I was like, damn, are there going to be more raza on here?
Right.
It took a lot of years for raza to really get on YouTube. I was like, me and a few, and Chicano Experience and a couple others, Naui and a couple others were like the only ones on YouTube talking about it. It's a good feeling, and I just hope the message is positive. I'm afraid that a lot of YouTube Chicano channels are going to go down the wrong path, and that's what I don't want to see, because our community already has enough problems. We don't need more drama on YouTube or in the streets or anything like that, because sometimes these dramas go to the streets and they create problems. And I like it for sure. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it 100. I like it that they have a lot of Chicano YouTubers now. That's a good feeling, knowing that I was one of the original ones. You know what I mean? And I just want a good message to be pushed, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And not turn it into a shit show of drama.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you feel now as all this Norteño, Sureño unity is being put out there now? As you growing up around it, seeing it, did you ever think this day would happen? Like,
where do I start? I mean, I grew up in Oakland, and I lived around the Bay Area. I even lived in Sacramento for a minute. And everywhere I went, that drama was always there. In Oakland, it was between the Border Brothers and the Norteños. The Sureños came in a little later. But then when I came to Sacramento, it was between Norteños and the upstate Sureños. I lived in Vallejo, the same thing. There was Nortes and Sur. To see that drama and killing of our raza over all these years, I kind of felt that one day would be a breaking point, that someone was going to want to end it. I didn't know when. I didn't know if I was going to live to see that. But to have grown up around it and even been a victim of it, because I got hit up and got into fights over it, even though I didn't gangbang, but it was kind of like, I knew a lot of Norteños, I knew a lot of homeboys, so a lot of times their dramas came to me. And to have been around it and seen so many young homies die over that, I like to see the end of hostilities in jail and a little bit of unity. The fight with Boxer, with Cholo, boxing match with Cholo Trucker and Gunner. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a beautiful message to at least bring some kind of peace and unity. Maybe it's just happening in the jails right now, but eventually it might hit the streets.
Right.
And we're all raza at the end of the day. Like the old saying goes, we all eat beans and rice at the end of the day, man.
Right.
We all have moms that are brown. We all have dads that are brown. You feel me? And, you know, we're the same people. We just say I'm a Sureño, I'm a Norteño, I'm a border brother. So now, therefore, I am different, but we're not different. And that's what I try to get into people's heads. But I think it's a beautiful thing to see some kind of unity happening. You got to start somewhere.
Okay. So you've been part of groups and organizations. You said being out there trying to be a part of political parties or campaigns. You said you put up campaigns and programs, or can you talk about a little bit about that?
Yeah, I worked with a group in Richmond called the Richmond Progressive Alliance, and I helped out in a political campaign for the local city council of Richmond at the time, because there wasn't a lot of representation of progressive politicians. There was a lot of anti-immigration stuff going on, a lot of racism kind of, and there was a lot of black and brown division. So I worked with that group because they were trying to break down those divisions. I worked a little bit with the Watsonville Brown Berets at the time. I was trying to get a chapter started in the East Bay back then. I worked with a group called Homies Empowerment. I did a little work with them. They're from Oakland. That's Cesar Cruz, De Olol, his organization. Okay. And I did miscellaneous work with other groups around Oakland and Richmond, bro. So, yeah, I there was a time that I used to be involved in a lot of that. I learned a lot. I learned about the political system. I learned a lot about politics, and I learned how to organize and how to get people together.
Okay.
For sure.
So, and you're not trying to do anything like that no more. You're just keeping it as an individual and just sharing what you know now. I
mean, right now I'm not trying to get back into the political stuff. If I ever get back into it in the future, who's to say? I'm not going to say no. Yeah. But right now I'm just trying to get my life together. I'm contemplating if I'm going to go back to school. And I just need to take care of myself right now. You know what I mean? I need to take care of my health and a lot of other things. And I need to take care of myself before I can take care of the world. Okay. But I have a platform where I could speak, and I could let people know what's on my mind. So right now, that is my organization, is Oakland Latinos United. That's my way of giving back to the community with what I have to say. And if people take the information and do something with it, that's cool. If not, then hey, you know what I mean? I did my part. So for now, I'm just letting people know through my YouTube channel and IG and Facebook account. But as far as me going out there with the community, I'm not going to say no, but right now I don't see myself doing it. Okay.
Are people able to be a part of Oakland Latinos United?
Well, because it's just a YouTube channel and it's just like IG. I mean, the best way they could help me out is once I get a little bit more things going, maybe they could donate, help me out if I could build the channel more. Yeah. If it becomes an organization, we'll see. But right now, it's just a little thing.
So no one could join if people asked you?
Not right now, because it's not really an organization. It's just a channel.
Like, what if people asked you, like, hey, can I join Oakland Latinos, like your YouTube channel? I want to, like, try to be a part.
Yeah, I mean, I could see something like we could do a panel, like maybe a podcast panel or somewhere. Kind of like what American Cholo was doing when he had Sonny originally and Boo Boo and those other guys.
Right.
Something like that I could see. Yeah, I definitely would love to see something like that going on, especially now with StreamYard happening, where you could do that with different people.
Right.
So yeah, for sure. Well, why not? I'm not saying no.
Okay. Well, Jose, it's been nice chopping it up with you.
For sure.
And for those who haven't known about you, maybe they got to know about you a little bit more. And if you don't know, now you know. Go look up Oakland Latinos United. He's been doing it for like 14 years. And so, you know, you want to say peace out?
Yeah, man. Just be sure to subscribe. Check out my IG, Oakland Latinos United. Check out my Facebook, Oakland Latinos United. Be on the lookout for my live feeds, because I do them every Sunday. And subscribe, comment to my channel, and subscribe to Chicano Ideas' channel. And let's keep it moving, Raza. Peace out.
Peace.